Welcome to Cashville Area Chamber of Commerce's first Chamber Chat. My name is Olivia Stone. I am the Executive Director at the Chamber of Commerce, and I am here with Nicole Rodriguez. She is the Director of New Beginnings Children's Home, which is a general residential facility of children ages 5 to 17. New Beginnings is a safe and therapeutic living environment for abused, neglected, and displaced children. Prior to joining New Beginnings in 2012, Nicole worked as a human resources director and administrative consultant for a private school in San Antonio. She holds a BS in applied psychology and shares 2 children with her husband of 19 years. Her purpose in life is to serve people, particularly children. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, can you tell us a little more about New Beginnings Children's Home?
Sure. So New Beginnings Children's Home, as you mentioned, is a general residential facility. We are the only residential facility in Medina County. We hold a license with the Department of Family and Protective Services, and we now currently have 3 contracts. One with the Department of Family and Human Health Services, and another one with St. Francis, and another one with Belong. And so those contracts allow for us to care for children who are currently in Child Protective Services or CPS care.
And how long have y'all been around?
The home got its contract in 2009. We got our first set of children November 11th of 2010.
Why was New Beginnings Children's Home established?
Wow, that's a good question. The property that's here is owned by a local church, and the pastor of that church initially wanted to do something on the property for men who needed drug rehabilitation. However, back in 2003, I'm almost positive, I believe it's 2003, there was a really bad CPS case. It was a little boy by the name of Giovanni Ochoa, and he had been starved to death by his family. He had been duct taped with his mouth, and this was around Christmas. I want to say he died either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It was a horrible case, but that case kick-started the Blue Ribbon Task Force for child abuse awareness. That was how that whole task force started. And so Dr. LaSalle Arvon was asked to be on that, and that is when he was kind of opened up to the horrific abuse and neglect cases that were right here in our city, not just in Texas, but in Bexar County. And so after sitting on that task force is when he decided that he wanted to do something to make a difference, which was when this land then turned into let's build a children's home and see what we can do to make an impact in the city.
What are the main obstacles that stand between Children's Home and your mission, and how do you plan to overcome them?
That's a big question too. Funding is always going to be the go-to. Yes, we have contracts with the state and we have contracts with other agencies, but that reimbursement is a fraction of what's needed. So you think about the economy now and what it takes for you just individually to run your household or take care of your kids or grandkids. You do that here times 10, 12, 13, however many kids we have. And so yes, money is always going to be the top thing that prevents us from maybe making this more of a home atmosphere or giving the kids more normalcy or providing those experiences that we want to provide.
Where does most of your funding come from then? Those contracts?
So those contracts, and then on top of that, the church that owns the property is our largest funder.
Okay.
As well.
So do you regularly then have the resources to cover your budget or no?
We regularly have the resources to do what we need to do to make things happen, to be right there, to meet I don't want to say bare minimum needs because I feel like we do more than bare minimum needs, but if you think about it, to be okay is where we are. A unique thing about our program is because we're smaller, we only take, so our max is 14, that's our self capacity, right?
Okay.
That we'll have. We like those numbers because it allows us to really connect with every kid that's here. So I may be the director, my administrator may be who she is, but we know every single kid that comes through here. We know them and they know us, not just as a name or a person. And so it allows us to really build relationships with them. It allows us to form trust and bonds. And so for us, we want to be able to expand that. One of the things that we've seen over the years with kids is they'll stay with us maybe until they're 17 or they're 18, and we've maybe pumped them up or instilled maybe them going to school or learning a trade, and then when they turn 18, like there's nothing we can do with them. They're gone. And so then it's like somebody being your cheerleader all this time, and then now I don't have the support system to do it. So our goal is to start a transitional home where kids leave here, and we want to build it on our property, where they age out of here, and then they go into that program where we still have that oversight, we still have that connection, and we believe it'll really be successful because it'll still allow them to have the connection with their family, which is something that a lot of kids struggle with. So they've been removed and taken from their families, right? And when they're 18, sometimes that's all they're looking forward to, is turning 18 to be able to go back to that person or go back to those people that the states that they couldn't talk to. And so our program would allow both. It would allow them, like, here are your rules. You can stay here, you go to school, but you can go see that mom or go see that dad or have that connection that you want to have. And then we could still help them to hopefully bring down the percentages, because the reoccurring case or the numbers of kids who were in care, they come out of care and then either their kids get taken away, whatever, is high too. So that helps to break that cycle as well. We have a couple of kids right now who are in high school, juniors, sophomores, and it's their goal to stay with us. And we're pushing college. And so, yeah, if that was in place, it would be phenomenal, because we already know that they don't have anybody that's going to be there for them when they're out of care, because they don't have anybody right now who's there for them out of care that they can truly rely on. So yes.
Right. I want to bring up, so earlier when we were talking, we did a tour of the place, and you mentioned that y'all were staffed 24/7.
They have a good support system, and like anybody, they're going to connect. I mean, they're going to connect with certain staff, but at the end of the day, each kid here has one person. Out of all of the staff that rotate through here, there's always going to be one person that they can connect with, they can go to if they're struggling or something like that. But yes, you should have saw us during the pandemic. The same way you may have had to adjust in your personal home with your kids. We had to adjust here with 12 kids, from homeschooling to staff to, we were considered, what was it, essential? We've been essential for forever. Like, we are not like a HEB or whatever. We're like the hospital. There's no closing here. 365. We can never say, oh, we're gonna, shut this lane down or that doesn't work like that. Because we always have kids here. There's always somebody to take care of. So.
Right. And so right now y'all have how many kids?
Right now we have 10 kids.
Give me your best example of the way you've seen New Beginnings make a difference in these kids' life.
Wow. I think our ability to build rapport and relationships with kids and the trust that's built there is probably one of our greatest things. And I say that because we have had kids that have left here unsuccessfully. And what I mean by that is maybe they weren't in the season where they wanted to listen to us. So they were fighting against us, and it was behaviors and it was this, but they always seem to find their way back, whether it's through messaging us, whether it's through coming to visit or whatever. We've had kids who gave us a run for the money, right? And they're like, oh, miss, I have kids. I want to bring my kids to meet you. Or they're reaching out to this staff, or they're reaching. And so to me, that speaks volumes. That says that at the end of the day, we made a lasting imprint. They knew that if nothing else, our care for them was pure and it was real. Right. So I think that's something that we do very well, being able to build that connection and rapport with our kids regardless.
Is there anything that you wish more people knew about New Beginnings Children's Home, or the issues that you're trying to solve?
I wouldn't say that I wish it's something they knew about us. I think one kind of stigma or thing that's out there is a lot of people look to give to big organizations. They look at numbers. And so I think we get looked over a lot because of that. Because it's like, well, I'd rather give my money and affect 100 kids versus give my money and affect these 10 kids. Whereas for us, I think of it like a school. If you have kids, you want your kids to be in a class with the least amount, right? So they can get what? Individualized attention and instruction. And so that's how we see ourselves. But I think that gets overlooked a little bit because of the numbers. And so if there was anything, I wish people would kind of think of it in that way. What we do is making a difference because we do know our kids. We have longevity with our kids. Our kids stay here for at least a year. We don't have too high of a turnover with kids. So that's another thing too. They're not just cycling in and out of our program. So mentors are also important. We have staff, and yes, as I mentioned, they build rapport, but at the end of the day, they're the staff to, 6 kids or 7 kids at a time, and it's impossible to give individualized attention all the time. And so mentors are great for the kids because the kids deserve that. They deserve somebody who is really only there for just them. They're not looking at anybody else. We were growing with that pre-pandemic, and of course with the pandemic that kind of just faded on out. So mentors are great. It also allows the kids to get new experiences and opportunities and to see what's possible out in the world. Sometimes their view of the world is very narrow, very skewed. They don't know much. They don't know what opportunities could be out there for them. And so mentors help with that as well. So yes, we're always looking for mentors and always open for people who are vested. Let me use that word, because we don't want you to just come. Far too often, sometimes people look at the kids, and I hate to say this, as like a charity, right? Maybe a charity case, or I'm proud because I gave, or I did something for this kid. No, we really need you to be vested for the long haul. And sometimes it's not easy. You know, the kids they're hurt, they're traumatized, and so it may not be that first initial where everything is good. Right. But are you willing to push through some of that and improve yourself and build that trust?
If we wanted to learn more about the organization, how would we do that?
We have our website, www.nbchildrenshome.org. We are on Facebook. I think the biggest way to learn about us is to come out and see. Come out and connect with us, because there's no way, you even said it during our tour, like, oh my God, I didn't know this. It's impossible sometimes to really get a full grasp of what we do. By just looking at, at numbers or information on a website. So call us, email me, come out for a tour, come talk to us, or invite us to come speak somewhere, and we'll answer any questions that anybody has, or give you any information that you want to know about our program.
And I'll put the links in the description along with the address, and I'll add your phone number and email address too.
Absolutely. Always open to share. Because it takes a village to do what we're doing, and so no, we're always open. We welcome people to come out for the kids. It has been really great. The kids respond very well to it, especially when people are doing it and it's not around a holiday, right? So of course the kids sometimes during Christmas, they're like, yeah, somebody's coming, because they feel like somebody, again, and I hate to use the word charity, but sometimes we want to make ourselves feel good, and so we do these things. And so when you're just coming out randomly just because you want to, those are the moments and the times that really speak volumes.
Right, that makes sense.
In the program, yes.
Do y'all have any events out here?
We do. We're just now trying to get back into events.
Oh, well, of course,
right? So we used to have we have a annual auction that we do. We had a fundraiser that was actually scheduled to go this Saturday. So a lady that works with our program, it's Let's Paint Y'all. She usually donates her time, and she comes out once a quarter and does paintings with the kids. The kids love it. She was scheduled to put on an event for us, but unfortunately the registrations were too low, so she canceled it.
Oh no.
I know, sad, right? However, she's open to do whatever for us, and so we're gonna look at rescheduling it for the fall. Maybe it was just a bad timing, a lot going on with the month. So that's something else. And then a golf benefit that we're gonna be having coming up later on this year. We'll post at actually Alsatian in Castroville.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
So all you golfers.
How do you keep your supporters updated about your work? Through Facebook?
So through Facebook, but we also do a newsletter.
Okay.
Tammy, our administrator, does a great newsletter, and what we try to do is kind of just as much as we can kind of put into a quick blurb about what we've been doing. And it can be anything from our kiddos who graduated, new experiences that the kids had that maybe somebody provided or that we did. At one point we had a lot of little kids. It could have been something, one of our girls learned how to swim with us. Another one learned how to ride a bike with us. So it may be a bunch of firsts. Whatever it is, we acknowledge our donors. So that's kind of what we like to do, just to highlight what's going on with the kids in the program, and then also to say thank you to those who are supporting us or continue to support us. Right. We'll highlight maybe some needs that we have for the month, and then upcoming events as well.
Okay, and you can sign up for that on the website?
You can sign up on the website, or you can email us to be added to the list, whichever works.
Is there anything you would like to add that we didn't cover?
We can always use daily household goods. So your paper towels, your shampoo, conditioner, your body wash, we will never turn those down. Cleaning, any kind of household cleaning products. And then a shed. The one thing that our facility lacks is storage. We have actually turned one of our bedrooms into a storage, which is why we have a self capacity of 14. And so we have a little slab out there that we're looking to, if somebody knows how to build a great shed, we could definitely use a shed out on the facility as well.
Okay, for all our construction companies out there, we need a shed.
You need a tax write-off, come see us. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to be able to highlight our program. Like I said, we've been around since 2010, but we're small. And so we ourselves are learning that we've got to get out there and share a little bit more about our program. But my biggest advice would be is just to come out, maybe call us, schedule a time to come out, learn a little bit more about the program, and help us be a part of making a difference for these kids. Most of the kids are our kids. They're from either San Antonio or the San Antonio area. We have a few that are around Texas, but the one thing that we have noticed is that if these kids feel the love, they feel the support, some of them want to turn their lives around and make a difference. And so we would love for you to partner with us to be able to make that happen and for the kids to be their best version of themselves.
And they go to Medina Valley ISD, right?
They do. We work with Medina Valley ISD, so we are pretty strong, middle school and high school right now. Pretty strong with kids there.
And you have one graduating, right?
We do. We have a senior this year graduating. So he's graduating from Medina Valley High School. He's super shy. He's super nervous. But yes, we do. We have a graduate.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.